All right, folks, we're down to the last part from chapter 3. A lot of stuff here. A lot of rules, a lot of stuff like that. All right, so what about this PCAOB? Well, let me turn this thing back on here. There you go. Okay, good. All right, so So you have to register with the board. Oh, wrong thing. One sec. So you have to register with the board. Okay, so they have a lot of different rules. Again, this is the public. This is for publicly traded companies. Okay, I'm sure you've heard about this in your auditing class. Okay, inspections. So in other words, you have to be a registered public accounting firm. Not any firm, not just any firm. Okay, you have to be registered. Okay. So you can't just go to Joe Smith Accountant and do it. And then they have investigations, disciplinary proceedings. So by the way, you have to be qualified and probably big enough to be able to handle the client, right? Dodd-Frank, this was all about consumer protection. You've probably, well, I'm guessing if you're old enough, you probably heard about it. So to regulate Wall Street, reduce big bonuses. By the way, this whole thing about too big to fail, I mean, there's some truth to that. Some entities are so big that if they do fail, the amount of trouble that they would cause. So they're trying to figure out what to do about that. Trying to prevent future financial crises. And again, you want to know about one, 2008 to 2009. That pretty much covers it right there. Okay. Complex financial instruments. This is a problem. Let me explain to you the problem. So the problem is smart people can come up with these different types of financial instruments or, some sort of value that people will be interested in investing in. But the people that are checking on them. So again, let's say you went to, hypothetically, let's say you went to MIT and you got a degree in finance or financial investments and things like this, okay? And you come out of MIT or Caltech or Stanford. In general, do you think most of those people go to the private sector where they can make a ton of money or to the public sector? So part of the problem is you have the best and the brightest working on these things. And then, it's not that they're not good, but it's hard to catch people that are really smart. So that's what this is all about right here. Do you know what I mean? And it's about investor protection. So I'm sure Dodd-Frank. Okay. A little bit more about this is about COSO. Again, hopefully in your auditing class you heard about that. So this has to do with effective risk management. Okay. How they should be identified, assessed, and addressed. Anti-fraud environment. That's why the acronym for this, and you can go back and look it up, the acronym is CRIME. Crime. It's a crime if you don't have good internal controls. So let's see, the E stands for the environment, different things like that. So basically, the acronym is CRIME. So we're looking to make sure that we watch everything. Okay. By the way, the Institute for Internal Auditors, not a member of that one. Sorry, folks. Okay. So they say that internal audit can be an integral resource for anti-fraud because they know the client better. So an internal auditor is making sure internally things are right. External is coming in. So who knows things better? The internal auditor does, right? So they should practice advisories that address identification of fraud and internal auditor's responsibility for fraud detection. Okay? Internal. The internal folks know, they know process and weakness. Okay, so we're relying on external auditors to come in, but these folks, companies large enough to have internal auditors, know the process and the weakness of those processes. By the way, what are some frauds designed to benefit the organization? By the way, it's all fictitious. Fictitious or misrepresented assets, improper payments such as bribes to get jobs, to get, work in foreign countries, improper representation or valuation of transactions, assets, or income, transfer pricing, pricing between different groups that are affiliated, party-related transactions, by the way, all these, significant information, anything that violates government statutes, tax fraud. So these are all frauds that to benefit the client, the organization, okay, that have been done. Now, what about frauds perpetrated to the detriment of the organization? Acceptance of frauds or kickbacks. So somebody's paying somebody in the client to give them a kickback of some sort. Diversion to an employee or outsider of a potentially profitable contract or transaction. Embezzlement, we've heard about that. Intentional concealment of data. Claims submitted for services or goods not actually provided to the organization. Fake invoices. Always a popular choice when you're trying to rip off companies because they often can't check it all out. So you give them a fake invoice, they'll pay it. A lot of times. So there's a lot of things. What should internal auditors consider? Environmental factors, organizational goals, policies, written policies, okay, authorization. So these are all things, again, that you've probably heard. Policies, practices, procedures, reports, and other mechanisms to monitor activities and safeguard assets, okay? Communication channels, do they provide management with adequate information? And how do they respond to these recommendations? Okay. So again, probably stuff you've heard about. So remember this. So where audit is related to fraud is where audit may find something, and then fraud, we're going to go investigate it more, and then forensic is even more detailed in going after it. Okay. A little bit more. What about fraud investigations? What should internal auditors do? Assess the probable level and complexity of the fraud. Determine who has the knowledge, skills, and ability to carry it out. Procedures to identify the perpetrators. Again, now you're basically doing a fraudulent investigation in your own company. Coordinate activities with management, legal, and other specialists. Okay. And again, be careful, the legal stuff here, the rights of the perpetrators. You have to be careful. All right, so, internal auditors, obviously, because they know the systems, there's a lot they know that somebody coming from the outside wouldn't know. Now, for corporate governance, their job, what is corporate governance supposed to do? They're supposed to protect investors. They're supposed to create long-term shareholder value, investor confidence, strong and efficient capital markets. This is what accounting and auditing is all about. The whole purpose for all that stuff is for the capital markets to operate. Because if you can't believe any of that stuff, why would you invest? Okay? And again, tone at the top. Okay? If you don't have good tone at the top, why would you? If the boss doesn't follow the rules, why would you? Okay? And here they give a lot of different mechanisms. You could read this through. Board of directors is strong. Audit committee has to be strong. You have to align the policies with what's going on. And then effective legal risk. This is important. Okay. But at the end of the day, all of this stuff, like I said before, this is all part that you've heard about, part of audit, but it's what helps to protect this efficient capital market. This is what our country relies upon. All right, folks, that's the last part. I think it was part 5. Was it part 5? Maybe part 6. Anyway, that's the end of chapter 3. Talk to you soon.